How you doing, guys? Big Mech Dan Skull back once again with another video for you. Today I'll be giving you the lowdown on issue 1 of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine, which is a great introduction to the hobby. This is the first issue of the magazine, so comes in at a fraction of the cost of the regular issue, just $2.99, and considering you get 6 dice, a cardboard playing surface and a character miniature for not 1 but 2 combat patrols, I'd say it's one of the best value issues of the 80 expected. The first 4 pages are taken up by vital instructions for building your miniatures, especially if you're new to the hobby and unfamiliar with how Citadel kits go together. It starts with the basics of how to remove the models from sprue and take away the mould lines. Next, we've got a section that introduces the setting. Welcome to the 41st millennium. There's a paragraph giving the usual, in the grim darkness of the far future there is only war, with the Imperium remaining firmly at the centre of the narrative, giving it a real propaganda feel. The next page gives you a brief idea of the 3 major divides in the galaxy, if you can call them that: the Imperium, Chaos and Xenos. The Imperium is billed as a brutal warlike empire with unnumbered armies of individuals who serve and worship the God Emperor. Chaos is a reality warping force of terrible power, worshipped by many mortals who are gifted dark and sinister powers in return for their souls and sanity. Xenos covers 4 of the numerous alien factions briefly: Necrons, Orcs, Tau and Eldari all getting a mention, and I assume they'll be covered in greater detail once we get further into the magazine collection, alongside any alien factions not yet mentioned. Over the next 2 pages we explore Space Marines, the Angels of Death. They introduce the knowledge that candidates to become a Space Marine are selected at a young age, and these individuals are genetically enhanced in order to serve the God Emperor's armies against even the strongest of foes. Each Marine has a particular battlefield role and work together to help each other to achieve their goals. Tyranides! Oh, sorry, did I scare you? That's what's on the next couple of pages, the paragraphs of which explain in grim horror the true nature of these biological killing machines. Mass swarms of uncountable ripping and slashing claws, biological artillery, external stomachs ready to consume fresh biomass in order to feed the constant growth and spread of the hive fleet. Hopefully we'll learn more about this as well as Space Marines in the next 19 issues, until we've got the complete combat patrol for both, plus the Parasite of Mortrex and Primaris Chaplain on bike. Over the next few pages we can take our first tentative steps into narrative gaming. The magazine encourages us to roll on a D3 table to select one of 3 character names for both the Captain in Terminator armour and the Winged Tyranid Prime. I don't imagine they'll make any difference in terms of rules, but we'll have to wait and see to be sure. On the back of each of these pages we find a full data sheet for each of our characters, which to collectors of previous Hatchet Parkwork Warhammer magazines may come as a slight surprise. Normally they drip feed the rules a little more. Just beneath the Wing Prime we find the burning question: what is Combat Patrol? The answer? Well, it's the simplest way to start collecting and playing Warhammer 40,000, in which players command a small army of miniatures in tactical tabletop battles. Every faction has a set combat patrol, and you'll receive 9 in this collection. The final 6 internal pages of the magazine are spent introducing us to gaming. This is obviously vital to those new to the hobby, and a great way to learn the rules of the game week after week. A nice narrative paragraph at the top of the first page sets up our primary mission nicely, explaining that due to a teleportation mishap, our Captain in Terminator armour has been sent into battle alone. I love these little narrative snippets, and I think for those new to the hobby, they can be vital in understanding the universe and the reasons we play the game. The following page leads in with some core concepts such as models, units, as well as the basics of dice rolls and the reasons for using them, and the terminology surrounding them in the rules. Mission 1, First Strike. Everything's laid out for us over the next 3 pages to help us set up a duel between the Terminator Captain and Nid Prime, including explanations of how to set your models up on the battlefield, the fantastic map provided, and the idea of to hit and to wound rolls, saving throws and the turn sequence. You'll repeat the steps provided until one model or the other is slain. Finally, the inside back cover gives us a picture of everything that comes with the collection, as well as 4 sets of wound counters to cut out, 1 in each corner of the magazine. These will come in handy to remember how many times a model has failed its saving throw, but has more than 1 wound, such as the 2 miniatures in this issue. The outer back page shows us what's coming in the next issue of Combat Patrol, 3 von Weyens Leapers, and in issue 3, the Space Marines get some reinforcements in the form of 5 Infernus Marines taken to the battlefield. In terms of value for these first 20 issues, you're laying out £189.80, because the first couple of issues come effectively at the cost of 2 issues. Effectively at the cost of 1 issue. It's £2.99, £6.99, so that's £9.98. The value of the miniatures inside, direct from Games Workshop, would be £236.50. That is based on getting the Ultimate Starter set, getting the Librarian and Terminator armor and the Von Weyens Leapers, and then the Chaplain on Bike and the Parasite of Mortrex. So you're looking at a saving of about 20%. There's not many third-party retailers that do a 20% saving on Games Workshop products when the products have been out for a while. So this is probably the cheapest way to get all of the miniatures in this collection. It's going to be interesting to see 20 issue collections. So in the first 20 issues, you get these 2 Combat Patrols, 1 for Space Marines, 1 for Tyranids. In the next 20 issues, theoretically, you could get 1 for Orcs and 1 for Eldar or something like that. And it's going to be interesting to assess in each 20 issue run how valuable those will be. And also it's going to be interesting to see, will we get 20 issue runs with, so a 10 issue run with, say, Orcs in, and a 10 issue run with Eldar in, or are we going to get them a bit more mixed up? So are we going to get, say, an issue with Eldar, an issue with Orcs, an issue with Chaos, an issue with Khorne, and they're all going to be mixed in like that? I imagine they'll give us them in 20 issue runs with 2 Combat Patrols in, apart from 1 20 issue run where we'll get 3 Combat Patrols potentially, but we have to wait and see for all that kind of thing. But it's looking like a good saving, despite the fact that you get no terrain in there, which is a bit of an annoyance for me, the fact that you get no terrain in there, because if you're new to the hobby, you need terrain to be able to make the game sort of look and feel like the game it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like in my mind, a cinematic feel to when you play a game. But if you're just looking from a rules perspective, you can use like whatever you've got laying about at home. You can use DVD cases, if people still have them anymore, CD cases, books to block line of sight, all that kind of thing, to get a good feel of the game anyway. Because if you're playing on an open tabletop, the shooty army more often than not is going to win. The ones that have got the longer range, higher powered weapons are going to win. They're going to beat a combat army because the combat army's got nothing to hide behind. However, it's going to be interesting to see. It'd be nice, I think, if they gave us some cardboard terrain that you can just build up with every few issues, every 5 issues or something like that. Just give us some cardboard terrain that you can simply glue together and use that, because it's better than getting no terrain at all, I think. But in the previous runs of this type of magazine, Imperium magazine, and in I can't remember what the original one was called, but yeah, in the previous runs of these magazines, we've always had terrain come with them, and they're some of my favourite issues, to be honest. I love terrain, even though I buy it and I don't necessarily build it and paint it straight away. I still enjoy having it and using it on the tabletop. So it's going to be interesting seeing going forward. In terms of my channel and covering Combat Patrol magazine, I think I'm going to be covering it. However, it might not be on this channel. So stick around to find out where the future takes me and where the future takes my coverage of Combat Patrol magazine, because I'll be sharing it in my community tab at the very least, and if I do cover it on another channel, which I think is currently the plan, I'll definitely share it here, and I'll probably share each video as and when it comes. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.